and certainly before we began our improvements to our system. The consent decrees really required us to complete a lot of work on our system in 12 years. And it has also required a significant investment in our wastewater infrastructure. We spent $530 million in capital improvements on our collection system and so far on our plant upgrades. And we funded that investment through our rates and also through debt, having sold over $500 million in bonds. And our board has approved several rate increases since 2005. Our average residential customer now sees about $40 more on their monthly bill to help us fund these improvements over time. Moving forward, we're committed to completing our plant upgrades and the consent decree in 2021. And this year we begin the second and final phase of the plant work that we have to complete. We're on schedule to make our improvements to the Fourth Creek plant in July of next year and Kauai in 2021. And we're very committed to maintaining our focus on our MOM programs and our Century 2 improvements because they help us eliminate those overflows. It's because of this progress and our commitment to the consent decree and compliance with it that the EPA has approved our request to move from 6 status reports a year to 1 annual progress report. After consultation with TDEC and the U.S. Department of Justice, they agree that with a narrower and more limited focus of what's remaining on the consent decree, that less frequent reporting is appropriate for us. That annual progress report that will continue to go to our regulators and all parties of the consent decree, it'll provide information on our overflow occurrences, our continued trends, also our MOM activities and our system improvements, most importantly, our upgrades that'll be complete in 2021. It's really apparent that EPA and other parties involved originally in the consent decree have seen our commitment and our effort to eliminating overflows. In fact, they've recognized that in recent communications with us as we talked with them about the revision to the reporting requirements and the completion of so much work in the consent decree by this December deadline. And they understand that we have a sustainable plan to maintain that infrastructure over time with what we're doing in Century 2 and focus on MOM. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have about the consent decree.
I don't have a question, but I came on the board, my first meeting was the meeting on this and we hadn't started. So to go forward 14 years, I echo as a board member this staff and the leadership that they did to get us from not knowing how it was going to be done to implementing the plan to completing it and to get some of those names I kind of remember from 14 years ago, and to be at this point, it just kind of shows the testament of the leadership here. And I know I speak for the board when I say that we all really appreciate it and we're proud to be a part of KUB.
Well, and let me say thanks to the board for funding it, because obviously without that support, it couldn't be done. Now, Billy Joe's going to share with you some more good news related to the performance in this area.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Ms. Roach. Good afternoon, Commissioners. I have some great news to share with you today. The investment in our infrastructure as part of PACE 10 and our ongoing Century 2 program has allowed us to have a historic year at our wastewater treatment plants. If you look at the chart and you try to find the bar for 2016, there is none. We had 0 violations at any of our wastewater treatment plants in 2016. Never did that before this year. And put that in perspective just a little bit, we have 12,000 opportunities to fail a year. Some of those samples are as much as at a set time our operators go and they get a grab sample, put it in a jar, take it to Debbie's group for testing, and every one of those samples passed. 12,000 questions on a college exam, did anyone ever get 100%? The samples are just indicative of the high quality treatment that our operators work to perform every day. We have operators working at our plants when we're sleeping. Christmas Day they're there, wet weather events they're there, 24/7 we man our plants. And as a result of that, last year, we treated 12.2 billion gallons of flow at our wastewater treatment plants. This work has not gone unnoticed. We received national recognition for some of our efforts at our wastewater treatment plants last year. Well, actually, we've had some national recognition over many years. The chart you see is from the National Association of Clean Water Agencies. And they provide awards to the highest quality treatment facilities within the nation. It's called a Peak Performance Award. This year we qualified for a 9th consecutive Platinum Award at our East Bridge Wastewater Treatment Plant. Platinum means 5 consecutive years with no violations. At our Kauai plant, this will be our 2nd Gold Award in a row. Gold means 0 violations within a calendar year. At our Loves Creek plant, this will be our 3rd Gold Award in a year, and in a row. And at our Fourth Creek plant, this is going to be our 2nd Gold Award in 3 years. And so that's really exciting, but what's even more exciting is we were recognized as a utility of the future. What this does is an inaugural class on a joint venture from the EPA, NACWA, and the Water Environmental Foundation that say what utilities are not only striving to do a good job on treating the wastewater coming in, but wastewater is a resource. Who's using that resource to harvest it into something good? Whether that's we're using it for power. We were recognized for our biosolids program. We have 100% beneficial reuse of our biosolids program, and we are recognized for that and some of the other environmental initiatives that we've done at KUB and our wastewater treatment plants. Lastly, this year we were also received a recertification of our platinum level at the National Biosolids Partnership. We're the only utility in the entire state of Tennessee that is a member of the National Biosolids Partnership, and we have a platinum award, or platinum level, of that program. How do we do it? The investment in the infrastructure, management support, but it starts with our employees. All of our employees take great pride in being able to tell you how well we've done this past year. As a matter of fact, within the different plants, if they were to have a violation, they do definitely wear that on their sleeve. But our state certified operators, they have to go through about 5 years of training, rigorous testing to get that qualification, and it's not an easy job. On top of that, we have laboratory and regulatory specialists that help us get our samples, they help us run our samples, and they help us interpret the permit. If you've ever read the permit, we need the specialist to help us understand exactly what it says. And Debbie's folks do a great job with that. And then on top of that, we have many processes that help us maintain our flows. And it's a lot of different equipment, and it needs to be maintained, and it needs to run when we need it. And so stuff breaks, we make a phone call, and we have maintenance staff getting our equipment up and running so that we can provide full treatment for all of the wastewater that comes into our plants 24/7. This work that we have done has actually been recognized by our regulators. This past fall, we had an inspection at our East Bridge wastewater treatment plant, and our local regulator not only told us this, but he put this quote as a final paragraph in our inspection report. It's one thing to say something out loud, but to actually write it down, I think, is a testimony to the relationships and just the achievements we've made over the last year. And it really is consistent with our blueprint that we strive to meet and or exceed all regulatory guidelines. That's the message I have to share, and I'll take any questions at this time.
No questions, but a comment. That's just fantastic news, and I think that when there's an environment of excellence that's created by staff, then people want to keep that environment going, and everybody here is to be congratulated for that.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioners, we're going to transition from the wastewater division to our electric division. I recognize Mike Boland to introduce our special guest.
Thank you, Ms. Rhodes. It is my honor today to talk about this. Am I going the right way?
You might have. There you go.
There you go. Oh, went too fast. All right. I'm here today to talk about our line worker apprentices. Line workers are the overhead construction, electrical construction folks. Line workers, we can go out and hire line workers from other utilities. We can hire line workers that are in process of training from other utilities, a lot of different areas. There are contractors out there that we can hire from as well. Another way we can do that is to train them ourselves, and that's what we're here to talk about today, is the apprentice program for line workers here at KUB. The apprentice program at KUB, or actually throughout the industry, generally consists of five progressive levels of training. It takes 5 to 6 years for a line worker to become proficient and become a journeyman line worker. The 4 to 6 years, generally speaking around 5 years to get through the program, is a very hard and physically and mentally challenging. I think the gentleman here today will testify to that fact. And it all starts with an apprentice school. The picture you see on the right here is one of our apprentices, Brandon Newton, sitting over there. I'll have the opportunity to meet him in a little bit at apprentice school. The apprentice school itself that we participate in is in North Georgia. The apprentices were sent down first, second week of September this year, I think, for a 15-week school down in North Georgia. They leave on Sunday, they come back on usually Thursday evening, although some weeks, I think y'all stay through Friday. Part of the work at the school was just learning how to put on the hooks so they can climb poles, learn how to wear their equipment, learn what is electricity about, how can you get in trouble with electricity. They learned how to drive big trucks, got commercial driver's license, all the basic sort of fundamentals that you'd want them to learn at that sort of school. That's what it was about. The school itself had about 250-ish people at that particular class of the school there. It's on 75 acres, and they go through about 300 poles per class because they climbed up and down these poles, those hooks, they chew them up, and then they have to replace the pole, and they go through that many poles in a particular class. So it's really rigorous training. Hopefully y'all didn't get too many splinters while you were there. In this particular case, I'll talk about the picture in a minute. I'm saying everybody's looking at that, but we currently, as an organization, have 15 apprentices, and that's all different levels, whether it's first step apprentice all the way through fifth step apprentices. So if you were to go out and meet one of our crews on the street, see some bucket trucks up in the air, more than likely one of the people on that crew is an apprentice. They start, like I said, they start going to school, and then they continue throughout their career here at KUB, learning more both in the book and in the field. They make 2 more trips down to North Georgia to have some additional on-site training as part of the progress here. And what that does is it maintains a skill level of employees as we continue to have turnovers. People leave, people retire. We always have fresh blood, if you will. And the people that they're training under are people that have been through the same thing they've gone through. So it's a self-replenishing sort of process as we maintain the skilled workforce there. This particular class is class 2016. The next expected class we're going to have will be in fall of 2019. The picture here is whenever they go to graduate, they have all their families down to see what they've been. They've been away from the family forever. A lot of times they'll put on demonstrations like this, and the families can appreciate the skills they've learned. It's a pretty dramatic picture. So it's with my great pleasure to introduce the class of 2016 to you today. If y'all will stand as I call your name. Eric Smith, first one up. Eric actually was a former meter department employee here at KUB, applied for the job. Eric was was on the pole group that came in second place in the competition, final competition down in the school. And I think there was like 50 groups, and his group came in second. So congratulations to Eric. Next up is Brandon Newton. Brandon came to us via the railroad. I don't know of another employee we've had here that's been with the railroad before, but welcome. I'm looking forward to seeing more of Brandon. Appreciated him being here. Next, we have Donovan Henley. Donovan actually won the Slim the Lineman Award, which I understand is the highest award they award to a graduating class. I saw a picture of the award. It's a pair of hooks mounted on some wood, so that was pretty dramatic. You come from Massey Electric, if I remember right, so have a little bit of electric background before we get started here. I should point out that all these folks, when we went out to hire, we did a pretty extensive recruitment effort to try to get the diversity and the skill levels that we need to represent ourselves well. Thank you very much. And then finally, Al Grimes. Al actually came from the underground construction department. And before Al came here, he was trained to be a boring rig operator, actually. I know a lot of the folks over there weren't necessarily happy that he became on the electric side. But nonetheless, I think they're all proud of him and welcoming him to have the opportunity to grow in his career here. And we look forward to Al doing good in the future. But this is probably the cleanest you're going to see them. They all got new clothes. They haven't done a whole lot of work just yet. They're still just training right now. But I think they're all looking forward to the time. Maybe next week, you all sign the crews next week. So they'll actually start getting their hands dirty next week a little bit. But we did just want to take the opportunity to present them to you today and let you know that we are planning for the future. We're trying to have all the skills in time to be on time when they're needed. So thank you very much. Unless you have some questions.
Mike, you want to recognize Doug?
Doug. Well, stand up, Doug. Doug Miller, I'm sorry. Doug Miller, he's our new manager of Overhead Construction Group. And Doug is a long-term KUB employee and a very varied experience that has suited himself well for the position he's in now. And Doug will be shepherding him through the process here. So welcome, Doug. Thank you.
I'd like to welcome the apprentices today. Congratulations on completion of your school, and we look forward to your serving KUB for many, many years to come and putting those skills to use for the benefit of all of our customers.
Commissioners, we have one more brief presentation by Leslie Hartzell to update you on our Project Help promotion.
Thank you, Ms. Roach, and good afternoon, Commissioners. And before I get started, Al, I'm going to put you on the spot just a little bit, but I would like to say that Al was one of our KUB teamwork students. So he's been here a while, so we don't have to say welcome, but I wanted to point that out. But as Ms. Roach said, I want to give you a brief update on the Project Help campaign and the program. Just want to start out just to remind you that the Project Help program is an emergency heating assistance program that provides temporary assistance to customers who may need help with their utility bills. The program began back in 1983, and this program is a partnership between KUB and CAC. I want to say that KUB collects the funds, but we transfer 100% of those funds over to CAC, who distributes those funds, and they screen the clients and all that to make sure they meet the criteria. This program is designed to benefit the elderly, the low-income families, someone who might be disabled, or somebody who might just recently have lost their job. So it goes to support and assist a very specific clientele within our community. And we're very proud to say, like I said, all the administrative costs are absorbed by both organizations, and that 100% of the funds that's collected through the various funding resources are distributed to the customers or to the clients. The two primary funding sources comes through customer donations, so customers can give. KUB, customers can give on the back of their KUB bill, and so a big chunk of the funding comes from that source, but also through the annual fundraising campaign that kicks off in January, and I'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a second. Just a couple of stats. Just last year for 2016, almost $197,000 was raised through KUB donations through the bill and through the annual campaign. And with that, more than 667 families was able to seek assistance through 2016. This program would not be possible without the sponsors. Like I said, it's not KUB alone. It's a collaborative group of folks here, and I want to talk just a little bit about what each of our sponsors do to help support this program so that we can help those families. Of course, CAC is the program administrator of it. Food City, the annual campaign just kicked off 2 weeks ago, January 9th. I want to say to date, there have been just a little over $14,000 raised. So if you do not shop at Food City, I challenge you to go into Food City. And if they're not asking, ask them to ask you about Project Help. Please, please, please do. But that's a big chunk of it. And then Home Federal Bank, they came on board a couple years ago, and they have boxes in their branches so customers can drop money in the boxes, but then they also give a corporate gift as well to support it. We have WIBK, who does several recorded interviews. They do social media updates, e-blasts, etc. And they do this throughout that campaign to help keep the message out there about Project Help and the program as well. And then we have WVLT, who is one of our media sponsors, and they provide TV and radio spots, so you should be seeing those if you watch WVLT. They provide the in-store audio that you will hear when you go into Food City about the Project Help program. And then they also produce a Project Help video. And if you go out to our KUB website and click onto the Project Help page, the new video that they just produced for us is up on our website, so you can watch that as well. And then, of course, the Knoxville News Sentinel does a great job of providing some promotional ads. They also have information up on their website as well as newspaper to help us promote the program. Like I said, the Food City campaign kicked off January 9th. It ends on February 3rd, so you still have time to give and contribute. But if you have an opportunity, if you shop at Food City, if you bank at Home Federal, if you run into some of these folks that work at these organizations, I would just challenge you and encourage you to thank them, because it's not possible. We can't do it by ourselves. CAC couldn't do it by themselves. And so we just appreciate the sponsors that have come on board to help make this program a success, and hopefully we can raise more dollars to help many more families. That completes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you all may have as well.
How many folks do we currently serve with these donations? Do we have those numbers?
The numbers, that 667 families that was helped, that was a number we got at the end of December from CAC. That number continues to grow. Trust me,